Hey guys, it's Davey here, and it's currently day 53. Hopefully, you guys had an amazing day, and of course, doing better than yesterday. But that being said, guys, I gotta be honest with you. Today, I relapsed, right? I relapsed because I masturbated today, right? And with flapping and all this, it is of course a habit I am trying to break, right? And flapping whether with porn or without porn is a bad habit in general, right? Because all the negative it brings you, right? It makes you ambitionless. It makes you lose motivation. It makes you get fulfilled. It makes you feel like you reach something in life, right? Achieve something in life. Um, Overall, it's just bad. And if you start thinking negatively about it and you start beating yourself down for it, you lose self esteem, you lose confidence, all this negative where there's actually no positive, right? There's no positive you get from flapping. So, is a habit I recommend everyone to quit because obviously for me, right, it has hindered me from reaching my goals. It took away a lot of energy and time. It's just if I could go back, and really go back into my childhood and kind of stop the time where I discovered porn and discovered masturbation, I would. Right? I really would, because of course, at the start it's fun, right? Because it's a very strong instant gratification. It's a very strong moment of bliss, right? But eventually, when it becomes a very bad habit, guys, it's something you start second guessing and really hope you never picked up the habit in the first place, right? Because just like drugs, guys, it's very detrimental to our mental health and just our overall ambition, right? And if you have something to achieve in life, it's probably not ideal to be distracted constantly with the urge to masturbate, right? Because that again kills ambition, so you'll just be less ambitious to reach your goals, to attain your goals after you do it. And even if you still have that drive to reach the goal, you'll to somewhat degree feel more fatigued and sluggish, right? So it's just not the most ideal. From my experience, it never really benefited me at all. So it just makes sense to cut the habit out, right? But of course, like I said, I relapse, right? So how did I relapse? Very simple. The desire popped into my head, right? And I acted on it, right? I acted on it without being conscious of it. I acted on it without realizing that I probably don't even need it, right? And I just turned the desire into attention, and here we are. I relapsed, right? But of course, I didn't look into it as a negative thing, right? I try my best to not criticize myself this time and really find the positive and good thing I can really appreciate from this experience. At first, it was hard not hard being not like that. I couldn't find anything good to talk about. Hard being that it was hard to kind of, I guess, persuade or convince myself to not criticize myself, to not beat myself down. That was the hard bit, guys. There's definitely plenty of positive and things we could be grateful of in our life in general. But it's very hard to just not criticize ourselves. It's very hard to not beat ourselves down when we, kind of slacked off, or we kind of, didn't reach our fullest potential that day. It's very easy to beat ourselves down than to really find things to be grateful of, right? And that was a hard bit. However, nonetheless, I still persuaded myself. I still convinced myself. Maybe deep down, I know I'm deluding myself. Maybe like deep down, my heart has the urge to criticize myself, condemn myself. However, I looked at the bright side, right? The bright side is I lasted for more than a week without thinking about it at all. I had no desire whatsoever until yesterday, which is major, right? It means that I was focused for a majority of the time without it, and how I felt during that time, amazing. I felt like I had more testosterone. I felt more happier. I felt more aggressive. In a good way. And even my lifts in the gym went up dramatically. So obviously, all the positive things I was grateful of. Right, I was happy that I managed to, endure this urge. Not even an urge, but I managed to live without it. I managed to live without it for so long, and that was the major thing I took away from it. Right. But of course, I relapse. But the relapse doesn't end. The relapse shouldn't take us back to square one unless we start beating ourselves down, where we start condemning ourselves, we start being negative, we start rebuking. Unless we start doing that, it should not take us back to square one. Even though our body may feel fatigued afterwards, our mind shouldn't, right? If we took care of our mind, if we are positive afterwards, if we didn't really, scroll about the fact that we relapsed and actually we're happy that we, had this experience and we had this period to ourselves and really find ourselves when we're clear, right? If we're grateful of that, then our mind will still be strong, right? So maybe we might be weaker physically, but mentally we are still more competent, right? So unless you start talking yourself down, you would not get back to square one. You may feel sluggish, but you're still up there. You're still up ahead. So don't start beating yourself down when you make a mistake, when you fail, or when you caught yourself giving in to your desires. Because just know when you do that, when you do give in to your desires, when you do start then giving in mentally, is when you start taking more step back than necessary. Is when you start undoing all the good work you had done previously. All right. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to relapse. It's okay to make all the fault you need for you to learn. Just know, don't compare yourself to others. All right. Don't judge yourself in accord to the standards of others. Just because they done this and that, just because they made this much mistake until they succeed, or just because they had this much success in this age, doesn't mean that is the image you have to live up to. Everyone can be successful in life, but not everyone have to get there at the same pace, right? Find out what works for you. Find out how many failures you need to be successful in your own image, in your own little story, right? Remember, you can only be special if you truly own your own goals, your own vision, your own purpose. If it's of someone else's, if you mimic someone else's, then it is inevitable that you're going to mimic their routine, their lifestyle, and their expectations. And when you do that, guys, you don't truly own your life. You don't truly own your life even if you become successful because you are living someone else's dream. You're living for someone else's vision. You never really talk to yourself about what you really want in life. Right. So, before I used to beat myself down with this relapse, and sure, I relapsed today, right? But what I learned today and what I really learned from this overall experience is just be okay with the setbacks. Just be okay and really embrace failure because we are going to fail. We are going to fail more than other people. And that is okay. What is not okay is to give up. And what is not okay is to keep on comparing you to someone else. All right. So embrace the moment. Be happy that you made it so far. Be grateful of the things you have and just be grateful of the overall journey and experience you gain. And only then can you be truly happy with yourself. And only then can you truly love yourself. And when you love yourself, your mind will take on this unimaginable power and position that will consolidate your life for how many more years to come. But if your mind is weak, guys, no matter how strong your body is, you're not going to push to your limits. So have a strong mind. And even if I did relapse today, I know tomorrow I'll just be as competent or if not more competent because my mind still is the same. Right. But that being said, guys, this had been my Monday. Hopefully you guys learned something from this, but if not, that's totally fine, right? Because honestly, I just been talking about how I relapse and probably not really informational, but that's okay, guys, because I'll be here tomorrow. So I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Bye bye.